Hello friends, today we are going to discuss linear voltage regulators. So in the previous video we discussed what is 78XX and 79XX. So just go to the description, you will find I've put the link there, so you will go there and watch that full video. So today we are going to learn how we are going to apply and connect this kind of voltage regulator in a circuit. We have 78XX and 79XX. How do you connect them in a circuit? We just recap. Said that 78 indicate the positive voltage and 79 indicate that the negative voltage. The XX indicate the amount of output voltage they produce. Let's say if it is 5, it will be 0.5. If it is 9, 0.9. If it is 12, 12. If it is 15, 15, etc. The same apply to 79XX. So today we are going to learn how to connect these two voltage regulators in the circuit so that you'll get your regulations. So here we have the two voltage regulators. This one is 7805. This one is 79005. It's not that clear, but we are going to see how to connect these two. So we have this LED here. We need to power this LED here with the voltage we are going to regulate just in a few. So we are going to use 7805 to provide us 5 volts so that we can power this LED, because this LED requires 5 voltage. So we need to regulate 5 volt from the input we will have, then so that we can power this LED. Now let's see how this 78XX IC is connected in the circuit. So it has 3 pins, like you can see, pin 1, pin 2, pin 3. So you put it on the face side like this, where you see 7805. Then you name pin 1, pin 2, pin 3. So pin 1 is the input voltage. Input voltage, V in. The voltage you want to regulate. Let's say it is 12 volt. Let's say it is 20. This is the voltage you want to regulate so that we can get 5 from. Then pin 2 is the negative, or the ground. Ground. This is the ground. So this one, pin 2, is be connected directly to the ground. And pin 3, pin 3 and pin 2. So pin 3 is the output. Now this is where we'll get our 5 volt output from this pin here. From pin 3 is where we'll get our output. So when you will measure the voltage between pin 3 and the ground, you should get 5 volt if it is 7805. If it is 12, you have to get 12 volt. If it is 15, you have to get 15 volt. So that is how 78XX linear voltage regulators are connected in the circuit. Pin 1 is the input voltage you want to regulate. Pin 2 is you connect the ground, and pin 3 is where you get your output. So for 79XX, just like you have explained, we have pin 1, pin 2, pin 3. So in 79XX, pin 1 is the ground, pin 2 is the voltage input, and pin 3 is still the output. So you connect pin 1 to the ground, pin 2, now you connect the voltage you want to regulate at pin 2, then pin 3 you will get your output. So when you measure the voltage between pin 3 and the ground, you will get a negative voltage. So when you put the positive terminal of the meter here and negative here, it will give you a negative voltage, like negative 5 voltage. Okay, so that is how to connect 79XX. Now guys, let's carry out some experiment here. Let's carry out some experiment here. We have this power supply. This power supply is giving us 12 volt, but we'll measure the output voltage from it. So we're going to make to regulate this voltage, this output voltage from this power supply. We're going to use 7805 to provide us 5 volt so that we can power this LED. And we'll do the same for 79XX. We'll connect them and test them. So let's start. You can see that this is the positive and that is the negative. So this rail where the positive is connected up to the end is positive, and where the negative is connected up to the end is negative. So let's start by measuring the input voltage so that we are sure of what we are doing. So guys, let's test. You can see we have connected the positive and the negative. Using our multimeter, we're going to measure the voltage, output voltage from the power supply. So you can see that the output voltage from the power supply is 14.92 volt. So now this is the voltage we are going to regulate so that we can get 5 volt from it, negative and positive. So on this rail here, as I've said, this is the positive. Let's start by 78XX IC, which we have 7805. We say that the positive for the 78XX, the input is pin 1, ground is pin 2, and so you can see I've looped this jumper wire from the positive to this rail. Then another one I've looped from the ground up to this rail. So when I put it like this, you can see that pin 1 is connected to the positive. This is the positive line. And the second pin, which is the ground, is connected to the negative. And the third pin is empty. So that is the connection. So pin 1 is the voltage input, the voltage which you want to regulate. Pin 2 is the ground. You can see pin 2 here is the ground, and pin 3 is where we're going to get our output from. So let's test and measure the output voltage from this voltage regulator. So when I go up like this, you can see that this voltage regulator is giving us 6.14 volt. Okay, so you can see that it has carried out some regulations. So now let's test the output with an LED. For us to be able to power an LED, what we need to do is to connect a resistor in series with that LED. That resistor acts as a current control resistor. So let's take this resistor now. So let me plug it here once. So it is in series. One side is the positive up to any rail here. Then I take this LED, the positive rail, to the ground. So you can see that this first voltage regulator is able to regulate and give us a power which is powering the LED. You can see that. You can see for yourselves. So this one is providing us a positive voltage. Unfortunately, I don't have a negative load. So let's just connect and see. So for negative 79XX, we say that the first pin is the ground. You can see the first pin is the ground, the second pin is the voltage input, and the third pin is the. So I have looped this one here from here up to here. The ground I've taken from this rail down here up to this point. So when I put it like this, you can see the first pin is the ground, the second pin is the positive, and the third pin is the output voltage. So let's see what we get at the output. It is heating up like this. I think this one is faulty. I'm going to show you what I mean by negative voltage. Yeah, this one is faulty. See, it's just heating up. Let me show you what I mean by negative voltage, because some people might get confused. Let me show you what I mean by that. This is what I mean by negative voltage. So you see this negative here at the meter. This is a negative voltage. So 6.11, it is a negative voltage. You can see negative voltage here. So the type of IC which provide this kind of voltages, it is the 79XX, meaning that at the positive, at the output, between the output and ground, you will get a voltage of which looks like this, negative 6.11. Now for 78XX, that one now is the opposite. Okay, that one now is the opposite. So what we are going to get, what I mean by positive voltage is that you don't see any sign here. So this is a positive voltage. This is the common voltage we use in our daily life. In smartphones, everything, every equipment uses this positive voltage. There are only some specific equipment which uses negative voltage, and I am going to give you those specific equipment. So That is what I meant by negative and positive voltage. Guys, where negative voltage is used in transistor biasing. So it is where the negative voltage is commonly used in amplifiers. So it is really applicable in that area. So you can also do research and try to discover some other more. But in daily life, we use positive voltages. That was the little we can do about linear voltage regulator, fixed linear voltage regulator. So we're going to go to next to variable linear voltage regulator.